again, everybody. Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH After Show. Let's get into it, starting with Mr. Robert Scorpio. Now, where we last saw Robert, he was sneaking into Maxie and Peter's apartment to look for evidence against Peter, and someone was walking through the door. That someone was actually Spinelli, who was looking to do the same thing, and after bickering back and forth a little bit, the two of them agreed to an alliance with Robert Scorpio leading, naturally, of course. But when the two of them part ways, Robert gets a phone call that absolutely devastates him. He goes to Anna's house and announces to her that the ex-love of his life, Holly Sutton, is dead. Now, y'all know that Peter has absolutely everything to do with it. Now, I know some of you are thinking, do you think Holly is really dead? My answer, I think she's as dead as Drew Kane. It is yet to be seen, and I think that we're not going to find out until the story, wraps up. And that could be a while, not just because of COVID-19, but because GH naturally drags out these stories to oblivion. Dead or alive, what this is going to do is distract Robert from actually investigating Peter more so. So, Spinelli is our only hope, you guys. Oh boy. Alright, let's talk about another villain, Valentin, or better yet, let's talk about his daughter Charlotte. Now, last week you guys saw that Charlotte put a snake in Ava's purse and scared the crap out of her. And Valentin put two and two together because he saw that she bought something from a reptile world type of place with his credit card and confronts her. And she's like, I don't like her, Daddy. She's the reason why we don't live in Windermere and she's one of your enemies. Valentin tries to say, well, she's not really one of my enemies. That's a bit of an exaggeration. And she's like, no, cut it out. I saw what you did. I saw when you threw her off the parapet. I knew it. I called it. I knew that Charlotte saw that. And that's why she was acting so weird shortly after they went back inside. Anyway, this shocks Valentin to the core. He is absolutely devastated that she saw who he was. And for the first time ever, he finally decides to do something noble and says to Laura in certain terms that he is no longer going to be a part of Charlotte's life because it turns out he doesn't want her to be as big of a piece of shit as he is. Personally, I think that Charlotte's ship has sailed. I mean, Helena is her grandmother after all, and she is quite the demon child, which I want to talk about something for a second. Y'all know I do not like Charlotte, right? But I am hearing that people on Twitter are insulting and bullying the actress that plays her. Listen up, for those that need to hear it, there is a difference between an actor and the character they play. To bully a little girl online the way you guys are doing on Twitter is unacceptable. Y'all need a reality check. I do not understand how people can't separate the two. I can hate Charlotte. I hate Charlotte. I will own up to that. But the little girl that plays her is doing her job. She is just an actress. Do not bully that little girl. That's so horrible, you guys. End rant. Okay, let's talk about the quad. Michael, Sasha, Willow, and Chase. Okay, let's just rip off the band-aid. So, Chase and Sasha put together a plan to have Willow walk in on them almost having sex just to push Willow into Michael's arms. Y'all know I'm a big Chillo fan, so I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I don't even want to say anything more about this. What do you guys think of this turn of events? Let me know in the comments below. I will say that Josh Swickard put on an amazing performance as Chase. This is the most emotion we've seen out of Chase since he began, so props to you, sir. Alright, let's talk about the Davis girls. Now, we finally see Christina after several months. It's been forever. And she's at Charlie's working, and Sam's there to meet up with her, as well as Molly's supposed to be there too later. But Brando walks in first, and they realize that he's related to Mike and that he's Dev's father, or, so they believe. And Brando puts two and two together and realizes that Sam is the one that saved Dev from the scary cult leader, and he has an insert foot and mouth moment and says, man, who's stupid enough to believe in anything that cult guy had to say? And Christina's just like, hey, man, I feel so bad, but it is what it is. I mean, anyone would probably say that. Just awkward moment. Molly actually shows up to Charlie's and sees that he is in there, Brando is in there, talking to her sisters, and just decides to stay outside until he leaves. So, this is going to be awkward. I think in the previews it showed that she's going to admit that she slept with someone and probably going to reveal that it was Brando. What a train wreck. But at this point, everyone on the show is a train wreck right now, including Molly's mother, Alexis. Now, before Sam went to meet up with Christina, she was actually at the Metro Court with Diane and Alexis. Alexis admits that she had sex with Neil and lied under oath about it. And of course, Diane and Sam could just kind of shake their heads at that point. But it is what it is. Later on, Neil meets up with Alexis at the Metro Court and admits that he's already lost his job at the hospital. Like, why did that happen off screen? It just seemed so rushed compared to everything else right now. But whatever, it is what it is. At least Alexis and Neil finally get to be together, so there's that. Alright, let's talk about Cyrus now. So, Cyrus, for whatever reason, is still roaming around free. I do not understand why Jason hasn't killed him yet, but whatever. He has an interview with Lulu at the Metro Court, and I'm just there like, oh, man. Look, I get that this was probably an assignment given to her and that she didn't really have a say, but for her to stupidly shout "Mom" when Laura walks in, the mayor of Port Charles, this woman is just mind-bogglingly stupid. I don't understand where her brains went. She used to be smarter than this, so much smarter than this. It's annoying. Oh. But anyway, Cyrus is clearly trying to get into Laura's pocket. I hope to God that they do not put her in a position where she's going to look shady because she doesn't have a say. Laura is a strong girl. She has beaten the odds so many times. She's fought the mobsters alongside Luke back in the heyday. So for her to end up in that position, I would just be so pissed. It's just, I'm scared. I really do not like the direction that a lot of the women characters on the show are being written. They're all losing their brain cells right now. All these smart women who were, you know, heroines back in the day are all losing their brain cells. Anna, Sam, it's ridiculous, it's crazy. Finally, let's talk Sonny and Mike. Man, these scenes are just getting more and more devastating. We're obviously reaching the end of Mike's story. And actually, when Sonny walked into his brand new remodeled house, I actually thought that this would be the final episode where we'd see just a bunch of flashbacks of Mike and Sonny, which I would have been okay with because it kind of makes sense with it being the end of the story. But it wasn't the case, and that could be just how it was written or produced, but maybe because of this whole COVID-19 thing, it got stretched out even more. It's hard to say at this point. But yeah, Mike earlier in the week was not doing so well. He could barely talk. Elizabeth even suggested that Sonny look into a DNR, do not resuscitate, order for him if he were to succumb to the disease. Man, Maurice and Max, I say it every time, they're giving such great performances, and I actually loved most of the storyline, even though it has been kind of put on the side a few times, but it kind of has to be. If it was too close together, it would have seemed a bit rushed, and I'm glad that it wasn't. When Mike inevitably dies, I am going to be bawling like a baby. I'm not ready for it. I am ready for it in a way because it's time for this storyline to conclude, but I'm so not ready for it in any emotional way whatsoever. Let's go back and talk about the remodeled living room for a second. What do we think of it? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I don't mind it. It looks fine. But much like the Quartermaine Mansion had me scratching my head a little bit, so does this set. If you guys remember Sonny's old living room, there was a corridor on the right where it led to the kitchen. Now there's a window where you can see the backyard. So did they move the whole kitchen? Also, on the left, there's a stairwell that kind of just goes to nowhere. Like, I think it might go left, but everything used to be on the right and there used to be just a wall there. So did they move the entire upstairs too? Honestly, sometimes I feel like the construction workers don't look at the set beforehand and just kind of go with it, you know? Like, it frustrates me a little bit. I feel like they're probably going to renew a lot of sets on GH. It seems like they're kind of leading that way and slowly going to upgrade everything. I hope Kelly's remains untouched though. Kelly's should stay the same. It is a staple on GH. It has been there since the 80s, and for the most part it looks relatively the same, and it should stay that way. We want a little bit of history left on the show, at least just a little bit. Kelly's is all we have left. Before I let you guys go, I'm just going to give a bit of a behind the scenes update for General Hospital. William Lipton, who plays Cameron, apparently announced on a live stream that GH won't be back into production until at least August, which means we probably won't see new episodes until, the middle of the fall. We are in for a long haul, you guys. I'm so sorry. But anyway, I'm going to end this video here. If you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.